Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Tokes, we're live. What does the chat got to say? Oh, yeah?
Wait, hold up.
My, oh, Micah. LaShannon Sharp should be in prison for what he committed against that so called OF girl. Place to follow. No place to come. But post this on your story, Tokes. My, oh, Micah. What the hell? Interesting. No place to go home.
But I can't find my hat.
Okay, bro. You don't need the hat, bro.
Wait, are we live?
Yeah, we're live. We are live. Welcome to Nightcap. It's
Welcome to
me.
Nightcap.
It's Tokes. We're ready.
We're ready.
Oh shit. Do we got people in the chat? Oh, we got someone in the chat.
Why can't I see who's in the chat?
Oh yeah, you can't. Can you actually not?
I can't.
I load up the YouTube video then.
Oh yeah.
But put it on mute. And so but you can just read it from there. Bro, have Woody post something on the Insta and tag us so we can repost. So we can get every type of viewer. Quick, tell them to repost on the Instagram page and tag us so we can repost it. Quick, quick, quick. Tokes 2.0 was goody.
But what'd you say, Hamada?
Have Waleed post it on Insta, Nightcap Live, YouTube with the YouTube link, and
Yeah,
have
he
him
was
add
gonna
us.
send it. But
Have him
why can't I
have him
find it?
tag us. Have him tag us on the Insta so I can repost. Nightcap Live, YouTube with the YouTube link, and
Yeah,
have
he
him
was
add
gonna
us.
send it. But
Have,
why can't
have him tag us. Have him tag us on the Insta so I can repost. Nightcap Live, YouTube with the YouTube link, and
Yeah,
have him
he was
add
gonna
us.
send it. But
Have him tag us. Have him tag us on the Insta so I can repost.
why
Can I get
can't
some W's in the shot? Can I get some W's in the shot?
All right, let me have Woody send the link.
All right, it's time to get serious. I'm not messing around today. Can we get some donos? Let's get some donos in the chat. I got a GoFundMe going on for Tokes. His ankle's hurting. He needs to get it repaired. ASAP.
How many people are in the chat?
We got 4 viewers. I don't know if that includes you so far.
All right, I told Woody to send the link. Damn, but I really can't see if people are in the chat or can I? Chat people. It just says me and you are in here. Oh wait, it just says me and you are in here.
We can get some likes in the chat. Yahoo, Yahoo. right, Totes. All right. Has the link been set? Nightcap is back. Yes, sir. Nightcap is back. I got a lot of things I want to get off my chest. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned, guys. Stay tuned.
We're gonna let the
We're gonna let the people trickle in for a second here.
oh yeah. Let them trickle in. Where did my boy Tokes just go?
I'll be back in just a second. I need Waleed to send this link.
Oh, okay. Well, why'd you have to close the camera though? That's much better. I haven't posted on Insta, bro. What's taking so damn long? Taysir here. Monty.
Dude, why can't I see the people in the chat?
My boy.
Listen. I got a big problem with you, Hamada, but I'll save it. I'll save it for later.
I got a solution for you. It involves.
You're lucky I couldn't find. Lucky I couldn't find what I was looking for.
Oh yeah. Look around, maybe you'll find it. We got eight.
Okay, Waleed sent the
8 viewers.
All right. How am I gonna see the questions? I guess you can just ask me the questions.
Yeah, I'll ask you them. Don't worry. I got you.
All right, guys. We'll just let everyone trickle in for a second, and then me and Hamada will get to it.
Oh baby. Egypt. Ali Benny says, Ahmad Egypt showed why he's the real O at QB. Boy, oh boy, don't I agree with that? Big O has a new name and has a new face.
We'll get into that.
Fell off a cliff. Ahmed says, why is Tokir wearing sunglasses inside?
Lee Shannon Sharp would know.
Exactly.
It's Lee Tokes Sharp. Lee Tokes Sharp.
Portier, my Shannon Sharp.
Sip some of that Laportier, Hamada.
Oh boy. Does that taste good? Does that taste good? Tawfiq goes Instagram is better apparently. Sorry,
we couldn't. We tried to get it onto the IG, guys.
I don't agree, bro.
With the things we got lined up, it only works on this app.
I got my cam from Temu. EB says I got my cam from Temu. I'm sorry,
yeah,
bro.
You need to have that 4K quality like me, Hamada. Look at my. I got the newest MacBook, by the way, guys. I use my MFL signing bonus to get the new Mac.
Damn, mine's 2021, bro. This is like 8,000 years old.
Well, Hamada. I think it's about getting ready for that time.
All right. Kick it off, Tokes.
All right, guys. Welcome to the second annual yearly nightcap. We want to thank all the viewers from season 1. I want to thank the Commissioner Hessen for allowing us to do this for 2 years in a row. We appreciate all the support that we had last year, and everyone was asking us to bring it back this year. So me and Hamada were like, we got to bring it back better than ever. So that's why we're on a new app, new streaming website to make it more entertaining for you guys this year. And this will be recorded. So if people who miss it, they'll actually be able to go back and watch it. So that's why we moved to Riverside. If anyone has any questions, that's why we moved to YouTube. So yeah, other than that, we'll answer a couple questions before we hop into our segments. Hamada, you got any questions?
Oh, let's see what he says. Show us the Levant. You know I got a rep. It's in the background somewhere.
I like the Levant. I respect the Levant.
EP goes, I think we got to start with Tokus getting knocked out. He ate that right hand like crazy. I'm not going to lie. He ate that.
We'll save that for a later segment.
Leeby Weeby goes, Tokir got smacked and kicked out.
Everything will be discussed.
Wow.
Hamada, where are the questions at?
They're just there's no they're just commenting. What is this? Can we get some questions in
Bro,
the chat before we start? Or you guys want us to dive right in? Because I can do that too. I'm ready to
all right.
unleash.
Actually, I got a couple questions pulled up from the IG poll, actually.
Hit me.
Is this FC Palestine's year, Hamada?
I think we say that every year about the so-called best quarterback in MFL. Sometimes one guy, has a pretty throw and people think he's the GOAT. But we know year after year he can't clutch up when it matters most. So I think it's the. We got a segment on that later. Don't worry. I don't want to say too
Don't
much.
get me started on Doomy. I'll save that for a later segment. I have too much to say about Doomy. We're going to answer one more question before we go into our first segment. And that question is, will Amir win MVP after an incredible week one showing? Well, guys, we actually have a segment on that. So stay tuned.
Yes, we
We're
do.
going to hop right into the first segment, Hamada. What is our first segment of the day? Big O versus Egypt. Dirtiest game in MFL history. Now here's a guy in Big O and Egypt. In my opinion, this is the dirtiest game in the history of the MFL. In all the 15 plus years that MFL players have graced the field, this was by far, the most disrespectful showcase of a football game in the history of this league.
Mm,
Hamada, what do you have to say?
mm. Let me get started on Big O, or should I call him Small O, because he came up short when it mattered most.
Oh,
And
here we
he
go
likes,
again.
he likes to instigate and call us dirty because Big O retaliated on their actions.
He was provoked. He
Put
was
your glasses,
provoked.
put your damn glasses back on. Let me get
He was
started on Big O
provoked.
because I'm ready to unleash on Big O the so-called future of the MFL. But
I
all he
can't believe
does
you're doing
is play
this.
dirty and la flop.
I cannot believe you're doing this right now, Hamada. I cannot believe this.
There's not much to be said except that your team is full of floppers, people who can't that dish it but can't take it because all they want to do is talk smack and not score more than 8 points, or should I say 6? Because 2 of those was a damn safety. So maybe score some points and stop dropping some damn balls because you're a second-round pick as far as I'm concerned. But we're blaming the ankle. I didn't know your ankle's connected to your fingertips. I'm sorry, I gotta get caught up with the times. But all I know is
Listen, Hamada. We won't talk. I don't want to come out here and talk about myself. I'm gonna come out here and I'm gonna defend my teammates. Nadim was in the right. I protect what Nadim did. No. Turn around. Face me when I say this. Nadim had all right to do what he did. Now, some might not agree with what he did, but listen. Here's the thing, Hamada. Here's the thing. At the end of the day, Nadim was provoked. There were some clips that were leaked of Nadim doing some heinous acts. Now, listen. It's not about what Nadim did. It's about what happened prior to what provoked Nadim to do what he did.
what happened prior, huh? What
Listen, there
happened
was a
prior?
lot of dirty play, a lot of cheap stuff here and there, and it just got to the boiling point. The refs did not handle this game well, and you guys saw in the climax after Nadim got the touchdown, he threw the ball at Egypt. Egypt got up and charged Nadim, and I had to protect my teammates, so I pushed Egypt back a couple times, and he threw a right hook, but I talked with Egypt after the game. He apologized, so we're all good there. I have no issues with Egypt. It was in the heat of the battle. It was in the heat of the moment. When you go to war, you don't think. But let me tell you something. This game was dirty. I saw Egypt steal Omar Alan's flag.
Let me know when it's my turn.
Take it away. Take it away.
So that was his side of the story. Now let me tell you what really happened. We stepped on the gas, stepped on their throats to start the game, and what did they do? They started to cope and started to retaliate and started making some dirty acts. They started it, not us. Well, unprovoked, Nadim just happens to, catch a little touchdown on a short corner on a fat corner. I'm not gonna lie. Egypt's out of shape. I'll leave it at that. He needs to
Are,
get
are you calling your
in
captain
shape.
fat?
But he called caught the
Did I hear that
touchdown
right?
and threw the
Wait.
ball at Egypt. Threw the ball at Egypt, and then Egypt, as any man should, when you get disrespected like that, fought back. And then he was getting held back where you came in and started pushing him and
That's
got
not what I
slapped in
saw.
the face and did absolutely nothing and talk about us being dirty. And then later on, Big O, or should I say Small O, takes Egypt's flag, throws it across the field. Izakov later on tries to hand him his flag, takes it, snatches it from him when we try to be
Okay,
respectful. So
what about when
Egypt
Egypt almost
obviously
broke
is going to
Azuz's
take his
leg?
flag and take it.
Azuz could have got injured for the whole year. It was a dirty tackle that Egypt made. Egypt fell on Azuz. It could have been season-ending injury right there. Well, what do you want Egypt to tell Azuz after the game? My bad. My bad isn't going to do anything to a season-ending injury. This was a flat-out disrespectful act, disrespectful game, and as a captain, Egypt should not. He should serve a suspension. I'm gonna say it. He should be suspended 1 game.
Serve a suspension.
Listen, as a captain, you're supposed to lead the team.
That is blasphemous.
Look,
That's
the
absolute
the
blasphemy.
players will follow the captain. If the captain is dirty, the players follow suit.
So should we
Look,
talk about Big O not being captain material either?
listen. Big O came into the chat
Don't make
earlier
me bring up
today.
that flop. We all saw that flop live on camera. We all saw that
Listen,
flop. I know
listen.
my captain isn't flop. He takes it on the chin and fights back, while your quarterback does all the clapping, does
My
all the
captain stayed
flopping,
in the.
flops on the ground.
Wait. Your captain got ejected. Is that captain material getting ejected from a game? Last time I checked, the captain is supposed to be composed and stay in the game at all times.
I like a
Last time
captain who stands up for
last
himself.
time I checked, Egypt was sitting on the sidelines with me and Nadim. Last time I checked. All right. Now here's the thing, Hamada. At the end of the day, I think we can all agree, jokes aside, that something like this can never happen again in this league. We can never let it get to this point. Listen, I spoke with Big O. Big O came into the chat earlier today. He apologized for what he did, and he said he's gonna be composed and be the leader that he's supposed to be. Now listen, I give him some grace because it was his first career start as quarterback. Now listen, I had the same thing last year. He started off a little rocky, but he picked it up at the end of the year. So week 2, I'll be as close to 100% as I can be. We got a big matchup, but I do think Big O will rebound going into week 2. And as far as the segment goes, this was by far 100% the dirtiest game in the history of the MFL. It's up there with last year's game with Doomy versus Egypt, which was also one of the dirtiest games in the NFL, in MFL history. And you want to know something? There's one common denominator. How come Egypt always seems to be the one in the middle of the dirtiest game conversations? I'll let you take it from there, Hamada.
All right, let me be.
I think we can move on now.
Let me finish off with this. Like Yazin said, which cap won? We won, obviously. Let me end it off with this. All I want to say is that Big O took a shiny car, a Ferrari, so-called Ferrari, turned on the engine, hit I-39 interstate, and drove it into the ditch. Next segment. So Danny washed or Doomy resurgence.
Boy, oh boy, do I have a lot to say about this. Now listen, before the season, I might have been glazing Sudani and saying he's the greatest quarterback in the history of MFL, and that Doomy is the most overrated quarterback in the history of MFL. But I've seen this movie too many times, Hamada. You know what they say: fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, I can't get fooled again, or something like that. But I'll tell you something right in here, right now. Doomy is made for the regular season. That we can all agree on. He always puts up big numbers in the regular season. He's always in the MVP talks in the regular season. But as soon as the playoffs hit, we see a whole different quarterback. Now, Sudani, now here's a guy who has a lot of girth and tonnage and experience when it comes to handling the regular season. So, an experienced veteran like him, he doesn't get too high, he doesn't get too low. He's got a very solid roster around him. He's not washed. To say the man is washed is a ridiculous take. Look, it's an overreaction if we're saying that. All right, this guy has proven year in and year out for the past decade he's the best quarterback that has graced the field of MFL, or one of, if not the most elusive,
I mean, no one's
electric.
concerned.
He look, he's must see TV. He's the face of the league. Just because he had one bad week doesn't mean he isn't who we all know he is. And I'll hand it over to you, Hamada.
Let me preface this by saying that Sudani is one of my favorite quarterbacks of all time. He's one of my best friends of all
He
time.
gave you your only ring.
Gave me
Never
my only
forget that.
ring, but I'm sorry to say this. Sudani's about to fall off a cliff. Let me get this started with this. That his roster: Alan, Yanal, Musa, who son of a world fresh owner, who came out looking like a future first round pick. Add that guy to the arsenal. Awad, Donish. Should I keep going? Should I keep going? Now here's Dumi's roster: Old Ubi, Tofik on one hamstring, and Monty, and then a bunch of plumbers from Dorchester. And Sudani couldn't muster more than 6 points on offense. The so-called Lamar Jackson, the so-called catalyst, couldn't muster more than 6 points on offense. I'm sorry to say,
Hamada,
but Sudani's about to fall off a cliff. I don't care if it's week one. He showed us week one. We played him last year, week one, and he came out in the clutch against Doomy. This year, the game wasn't even close. But I will say that I'm going to give Sudani one more chance. I'm going to give him one more week.
one more week.
One more week.
He's not a scrub.
I'm
Hamada,
sorry.
you need to stay off the read.
I'm sorry. I got eyes. And the eyes don't lie.
You're
Word
talking
minute.
about
The
one
internet
of the
lies.
most decorated, one of the most decorated players in the history of the MFL. You're saying he only has a 2-week leash? Am I hearing that right?
Did we watch the same game? Or
Listen,
were you watching it on
I
your
don't overreact.
Flemish
Hamada.
70-inch screen and your Palatial State in Bel Air? Is that what you're doing? Because I watched it on my TV through my eyes, and what I saw was a guy that's regressing heavily. I'm sorry. I gotta say it like it is. Now that's the Sudani point. Now let me get started on Doomy. Like you
I can't.
said,
I can't believe what you're saying right now.
Doomy's a broken record when it comes to the preseason, to the regular season. He's a broken record. I've seen the tape. The tape tells every season he starts off good. He starts off blah blah blah, MVP, Offensive Player of the Year. You know, throw this in, throw that in. But at the end of the day, I can't trust him. He's my brother. He's a great quarterback. But he's the Andrew Luck. He's the Aaron Rodgers. Actually, Rodgers has a ring. Kind of disrespectful to compare it to him.
He's Justin Herbert. I'll give you that.
Justin
He's
Herbert.
Justin Herbert.
That Justin Herbert gets all this praise, gets all this love. Top 10, top 5. When's the guy gonna win a playoff game?
We've been saying that for 8 years.
Lose to Aid Stonehands last year. Aid freaking Stonehands. He comes out, beats Sudani. Loses to Aid in the playoffs. Beats Sudani in the regular season. 1 + 1 = 2. Doomy, yeah, sure, if we're talking about regular season, is having a resurgence. Sudani's about to fall off a cliff. And that's all I got to say about that.
Listen, until I see Doomy win a playoff game, I'm not putting any weight into his regular season performances because I've seen it over a half decade of Doomy dominating in the regular season, and as soon as the playoffs hit, he's just not who he is. He's a different guy in the playoffs. So, I mean, but we're not in the playoffs, so I'll take it a week at a time. I'll take it 1 week at a time. For week one, Doomy looked good. His roster looked good. I guess we can say it's a Doomy resurgence because Sudani is definitely not washed, and I expect a offensive player of the week performance from Sudani next week. Mark my words. Book that.
All right. Enough said about that. Let's move on to this. Oh, boy.
Am I reading this right? Amir, offensive player of the week, something or nothing. You know what? I think it's something. You don't just throw 4 touchdown passes out of the blue. I mean, you look at some of Amir's passes. He was precise. He was matriculating the ball down the field. He was making the correct reads. And I feel like in a week one where it was a defensive battle, the quarterback who turned the ball over the least made the biggest plays, and all Amir was doing was spreading the wealth to all of his receivers. He was making sure AJ got the ball. He was making sure Yezen got the ball. He was making sure all his guys were involved in the offense. Noah got the ball. I mean, defensively, this team is going to be solid, but as Amir as a player, I think, look, he could have an MVP trajectory with all the weapons that are around him. I mean, we're talking about Khalil, Noah, AJ. I mean, these are guys who are potential first and second round talents that he has all on one team, and with the way he was playing, the decisions that he was making, look, he looked accurate to me. I think this is definitely something, and I expect the Galleria Guardians to continue to ball out, even though preseason rankings they were ranked as one of the worst, if not the worst team. But Amir is already silencing the doubters.
Wow, Tokes. I think we actually found something we might agree on. The first time in MFL history, if you asked me, week one, nightcap, would we be glazing the Galleria Guardians? I would take that piece of paper, throw it in the trash, and call you an absolute idiot. But I don't know if my eyes are deceiving me. 4 touchdowns by Amir, a pick and a touchdown by AJ, a touchdown by Noor, a touchdown by KJ Smith, and a pick by the 80-year-old Didi. And then you mix in Suhaib. And then you mix in Idris, who wasn't even there. Boy, oh boy, this might be the Eagles' 2024 roster. This roster is absolutely insane. I don't know how he managed to get this roster, but we let it happen. The other captains, I guess, wanted to be bots and let it happen. But I'll give him his props. I'm giving him his props. Well deserved offensive player of the week. He was moving the ball. It was iffy at times, but he moved the ball at will. The defense, I mean, even if Amir, he threw 2 picks, but it didn't matter at all because that defense is absolutely insane. That defense alone can win him a playoff game and possibly get him to the chip. I'll say it right here. It can be like a repeat of last season, but even better because this roster is even better. But against a team like Doomy, against a team like us, it's going to come down to the defense. And I feel like if Amir can't hit his targets like he did today, he's in for a rude awakening because at the end of the day, you go where the captain and where the quarterback takes you. And I don't know if Amir can take him very far, but this roster is poised for him to make a deep playoff run. And I'll leave it at that. Any last thoughts on that game?
I'll bet you 3 cases of Diet Mountain Dew that Amir wins another playoff or wins another offensive player of the week this season. Book that, Hamada.
Triple that and make it 9, make it 12, make it 20 because there's no way in hell he makes another offensive player of the year game because he has players like Noah, like AJ, like Khalil on his team that will get those awards easily. Like how does AJ? AJ's gonna get some eventually. I
I
just
guess
know.
time will
I
tell.
just know. But that's not a diss at Amir. That's a praise towards his team.
Well,
Now,
before we go on to our third segment, we actually have a couple more questions to answer. All
what do
right.
you got for me, folks?
Which team took the biggest W and which team took the biggest L this week?
The biggest W. I'm gonna have to go with Big O, and I'm not talking about Alan. I'm talking about Nugget. I'm talking about Egypt because
Stop being biased.
bias.
The
Let's pull up the
biggest win
receipts.
is Galleria Guardians, and
Let's
it's
pull up
not
the
even
receipts.
close.
Let me finish. Let me pull up the receipts. Preseason rankings. Egypt goes. What was it? Number 5. Okay. Says our roster's not crazy. It's not all that. And where was Habibi Elite or whatever you call yourselves? Number 1.
I
Number
don't do the
5
rankings.
beating number 1 sounds like the best win of the week. And when you bring it on the field, what do we got here? What do we got here? Ahmed Egypt, one touchdown, one pick. Ben, one touchdown, one pick. Is that Dawood? One touchdown. Izakov, a passing touchdown. Moose, Moose Dulak, Taysir's brother, the so-called Brock Lesnar of the MFL, two sacks. And then me, that pick six. What can I say? We started hard.
Yeah, that
We
got handed to you.
so-called best team in the
That
league.
got handed to you.
Handed
The
to us.
so-called.
Handed to us.
Listen, buddy, Hamada. I think it's without a doubt the biggest W was Galleria Guardians, a team no one expected to win, and they won in a blowout fashion. Now, if you don't agree with me, you're just wrong. And the biggest L, I'll admit it. I'll admit it. I'll admit it. The biggest L was actually Sudani's team, a team that was has the one of the best all-time players and a stacked roster, a team that got even better after the preseason trade, and they came up very short. Now, they had the biggest L because Big O is a rookie quarterback. He's still learning the ropes. I don't expect a veteran Hall of Fame first ballot quarterback to put up a dud like that. They earned the biggest L of this week.
The biggest hell of the week was Aid Stonehands Abu Hamda because what were they, number 3? Yeah, number 3 because he had Amin Noodle, who played good. I'll give him his props. But Zaid Dullah, this man's about to eat himself out of the league. One too many McChickens, one too many Taco Bell Grande burritos because that man was dropping passes like he had a stick of butter on his fingers. He made a couple catches here and there. According to my calculations, he had one pick, but it came it came in garbage time because they were getting blown out. And then
Look,
you have
I think you're completely right, Hamada. He might be two chicken McGriddles away from going back to being a right tackle. Yeah, he might not be that Calvin Johnson level receiver he was last year, where you just throw it up and he'll go get it. Because he's been working too much on the pass protection and not enough on the jugs machine. Because I saw at least 3 drops from Zaid, and they were crucial drops.
a lot
And
of
I'm
drops
talking
for that
about
team
he could have scored some touchdowns if he was just able to hold on to the ball.
easily.
Now we could be having a completely different conversation, but it's a team game. I don't want to blame one player for a team's loss, and I'm certainly not blaming Zaid all the way, but he definitely had a hand in the pie. Look, you know what they say, Hamada. If you can't handle the heat, get
Step
out the
out of the
kitchen.
kitchen.
Exactly. Other than that, we move on to our next segment. This might be very controversial here, guys. 4-yard rusher rule. Is it OP or is it balanced? Now, my initial thoughts, I sat down, I grinded the numbers, I grinded the tape, I watched the all 22, and I was sitting there and I was thinking, you know what? I think it might be a little OP just right now because the quarterbacks haven't adapted. Now, I'm not saying the rule itself is
Mm,
OP. I'm just saying the quarterbacks haven't adapted. Now, see, in years prior, when it was a
mm,
7-yard rule, the 7-yard rule, it helped the rushers because they were able to, put more pressure onto the blockers. But it also helped the
mm,
quarterbacks because it takes a longer time to contain a quarterback when you're coming from 7 yards out. So a mobile quarterback like Sudani or Dumi
mm,
or any super mobile quarterback is easily able to get outside the pocket going left and right. But with the 4-yard rule,
mm.
a guy you don't have that room for error anymore. A guy is basically already containing you. So if you roll out, we saw with Big O, there were times where he would roll out right off the hike and he'd get sacked. And I feel like for the quarterbacks to dominate or adjust to this rule, they need to step up in the pocket. I think going side to side won't work as it did in years prior. I think if you want to be a successful quarterback in this league, you need to step up in the pocket and make throws because escaping with athleticism isn't as OP as it was prior. What do you have to say on that,
This
Hamada?
this rule is absolutely overpowered. It needs to get nerfed. The update needs to drop immediately because my quarterback was getting molested in the pocket by Big O, by the other rushers. I don't know who their names are, but The man had less than 2 seconds to throw each ball. I watched the all
Yeah,
22.
block better. That had nothing to
No,
do
no,
with
no,
the
no, no.
four
We
yard
have the
rule.
Twin Towers. We got the Kamish, and we got Mr. Ahmad Aish himself at blocker, and they were getting through like it was a freaking a broken
Hurry
fence
up and
with
go.
a German Shepherd about to jump across it because my quarterback was getting molested, and I saw Sudani 6 points. His running didn't look at that effective today, did it? That's maybe because of the rush.
I,
Now,
I, I,
now, there's some solutions to this. I don't want to give Mike. I don't want to talk too much. But all I'm gonna say is, quarterbacks back up. The 4 yard. It's a 4 yard rule, but that doesn't mean you can still be 7 yards away. Just
hmm.
have the blocker just snap it to you. But hey, that might be our strategy. I don't know. Take that which with will. Take it with a grain of salt. That's all I'm gonna say though about that. Now let's move on to some chat questions. What do we
All
got?
right.
Muhammad Alan says best unks in the league. I just want to get talked about. What do you got to say about Alan? Let's talk
Look,
about him for a bit.
just speaking on Mu'minin in general, they've got a lot of veteran players, guys who've been in and out of the league, uh, guys who've played in both youth leagues and older leagues. Look, I think Alan is one of the best players in the league. Um, if he shows up now, from per my sources, I was deep in talks with a lot of sources and saying that Mo can only make it to the 10 a.m. games. Now, if he can only make it to the 10 a.m. games,
Hmm.
Mu'minin might be in some trouble. They might be in some trouble because he is a two-way superstar, one of the best receivers, one of the best defensive backs, whatever position you want him to play, he can play it. So
Hmm.
as long as he's there for them, I think they should be in good shape. But I think this team has some chemistry issues right now. Even though I've seen Sudani play with a lot of these guys, Danish, Awad, for many years, I think they just need to kind of put it all together. Now, it was only week one, so I'm not gonna overreact. I'm not gonna overreact. All
I
right.
am. I am. All I know is that in the big 2025, Mo Alan might be the quarterback to take that team to the playoffs if Sudani is washed, which I believe he might be. Now, Libby Weeby goes, I need them to talk about me too.
Listen, Liban, I saw you had a couple nice catches. I'll give you a couple nice drag routes. I saw that out there. But once you start scoring some touchdowns, we'll start mentioning you for real. But
Wait,
other than that, I liked what I saw, Liban. You guys got the win. That's all that matters is you guys got the win.
Liben, I see what the stats don't tell, and I saw you clamping at corner for a first time corner. He played absolutely flawless. Got to give him his props. Back on
You're,
to
you're too nice on the players nowadays, Hamada. You're too
sorry,
nice.
I speak facts. Ubi Sudani isn't washed. He just played the best defense in the league. Best defense in the league.
Have you
Backer,
seen Habibi Elite's defense?
backer. Okay, okay, backer. Um, some plumber named what's his name? Abdullah Ablawi Wefa.
And
Z.
can we even rely on Tawfiq to show up to every game?
I hope he does, but other than Tawfiq, Monty, or Dumi, it's bust on that team. I love Ubi, but I'm sorry. Your holes are getting covered up by Dumi's play in the regular season. Come playoff time, you're gonna get exposed. Dumi's gonna get exposed, and it's gonna come out that that trade was indeed uh, not the right trade to make. But Dumi says we had Naisa. Okay, okay. New information, new take. I can do that. I'm not a hypocrite. I don't backtrack on my takes, but I forgot about Isa. I'll give him that. I forgot about Isa. The team might be better than we thought. That defense might actually be better, but it's not the best defense in the league. I'd rather have Habibi Elite's defense. I'd rather have our defense, and I'd damn sure rather have Galleria Guardians defense.
I agree with you I agree with you on that, Hamada. I'd rather have those three defenses than Doomy's defense. But I'm not saying Doomy's defense is bad. I'm not saying it's bad. I just don't think it's elite. Right now, offensively, they're playing elite, which will cover up some of their defensive holes. But come playoff time, Can Dumi match his offensive play to the regular season? That's something we will find out later
Tokes.
on.
Amr Al Ahmed says, "Is Musa gonna be the greatest rookie of all time?"
All right, all right, all right. Listen, listen, listen. I think we need to slow down all these hype trains. Last year, people were talking about Omar Al Ahmed being, a future first round pick going into year two. Come on, did he even have a catch against us? Listen, I think we need to slow down on all these hyping up all these new players. Now listen, I saw Musa play. He looked really good out there. He did. He looked good. He looked solid. Being the only one to catch a touchdown pass on that stacked of a roster, to me it showed Sudani trusting a rookie when he has all those vets on his team. It speaks volumes. But to say he has a chance to be the greatest rookie ever, I don't think these kids watched Muhammad Rahima as a rookie or
I don't think these
Gadur.
kids watched
They don't.
Chef
They didn't watch.
Hamdama as a rookie,
They
dropping
didn't watch
three
Gadur.
touchdowns in a playoff game with the greatest quarterback of all time, Albada,
They
against
didn't watch
Else.
Ebi as a rookie. They
They didn't
didn't
watch EB
watch
as a rookie. They didn't
Gadur
watch
as a rookie.
our
Listen,
teammate Omar Al Ahmed as a rookie. But
Hamada, some of these kids don't understand. Gadur was in middle school playing with grown men and dominating as a rookie. He was in middle school. Gadur was. I think he had the greatest rookie season of all time. Now
let me give him
that's
his
a
praise though.
debate.
Musa is a good player. He's gonna be a great player. I do
Look,
believe that.
he's a good player, but there's levels.
Yezen goes. Who has the best defense in the league? Tokir. He like at you. He wants you to answer.
I think right now, the best defense in the league is Galleria Guardians. I think currently, as we speak, Galleria Guardians. Now we all knew they were always going to have a great defense because, well, Amir picked up probably the best rusher duo in maybe MFL history, and then you've got probably the best safety in MFL history, and then Khalil is one of the best linebackers, and then look, no, he's one of the best linebackers or rushers where you can put him wherever you want. You got Yezen, you can put Yezen at rusher, you can put Yezen at linebacker.
Yezen. Yeah, Yezen too.
They've got guys who play multiple positions defensively. I think we all knew before the season this was going to be a top two defense, and they're proving it right now. Now, some people might think it's fluke because they played Ayed, but I think as the season goes on, they are going to have a top two defense, and I don't think it's going to be number two.
I concur. I concur.
Now we've got about maybe 7 more minutes, so we'll probably give a couple more chat questions, and then me and Hamada will wrap up and head into week two.
Man, I'm just glazing Musa the whole time. He goes, "Is Musa the biggest steal in MFL history?" No,
Listen, he's not,
I was
Musa's.
undrafted, buddy. I went undrafted.
Listen, Hamada, let me just stop you right there. Musa isn't even the biggest steal in this year's draft. I'm giving that to Khalil Smith. Khalil
No, no,
Smith
no,
is the
no, no,
biggest
no,
steal.
no, 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 no. Time out. Time out. Time out. Time
That
out.
set in stone.
KJ Smith does not count as a steal when every damn captain doesn't even know the hell that is. If it said Khalil and we knew who the hell they were talking about, I guarantee you who goes higher. Finesse. I don't. Let's talk about finesse though. We've been glazing Amir this whole time, but buddy, just know you finesse the league, and sometimes
Yeah,
it might come.
there will be an
It could be a Mickey
investigation
Mouse
going
stuff at the
on.
end of the day. It could be a Mickey Mouse team.
Now, we have opened a MFL investigation into that, but there isn't too much we can say. All we can say is Amir better be lucky we didn't crack down too hard on him.
He goes, is Tokir the most overrated player in the league? Dumi. Dumi says that. Dumi asks you. Let me answer that question. Let me
Yeah,
answer.
let you answer that, Hamada.
Yes. Tokir, whatever your middle name is, Shahid, is the most overrated player in the league. But that doesn't mean you're bad, bro. People throw around this word overrated, underrated. It means you're underrated means you're trash. Overrated means you're trash. It just means that where you were drafted does not correlate to the skill on the field, to the production on the field. Because all I saw on Sunday was drop after drop
You
after
saw one drop.
after drop. And
Look, I
sorry,
think we can make a fair
use the
assessment
same
when he's
route every
healthy.
play, Tokes. The same damn
Look,
route every play. All he knows
look,
is like a
look, my ankles were
swing
killing
route.
me. My look,
Ankles, ankles, ankles
look,
this, ankles that.
I ran a couple streak routes and corner routes, and I realized early on that I was gonna have to be a short route merchant in that game. Now,
Yeah, yeah.
we can revisit this take when I'm fully healthy and I can run my entire route tree, because even on the swing routes, my ankles were they weren't really holding up, and on a swing route you barely even make any cuts. So if my ankles were hurting on those, I believe I deserve some slack. But I will say we can come back to this. We can come back to this when I'm
Listen,
healthy.
listen,
But
listen.
all I want to say is
For the amount of hate I just gave Zayd, Tokir went over Zayd the look. Let that sink in.
I just want to say, you said I was going to get exposed at safety. There was zero deep completions.
Because that was because of the OP 4 yard rush we discussed 5 minutes ago.
Hmm. Uh, you
The
just come up with excuses
serious
all the time,
phony,
Hamada.
the MFL.
You just got a talent to come up with excuses. I'll give you that. Now, I think we'll answer three more questions before we get up out of here.
Come on, guys, throw me something. What do we got?
I've actually got one from the chat.
What do they say?
This question is: Was Ayed a fluke finals run last season?
Listen, anyone that plays Doomy and ends up in the playoffs is going to be a fluke because beating Doomy in the playoffs is not impressive. And I'll leave it at that.
Look, I think Ayed's got the capabilities of being a great quarterback. He showed us in the playoffs. Playoff performances to me speak higher than regular season performances. And last time I checked, I had two playoff wins as a rookie and made a finals appearance and was one touchdown away from beating Hazem, Eb, Aus in a final.
Listen,
Now,
listen. It's the same scenario as the Galleria Guardians, except Amir might just be a little better. But the roster carried him to that finals. He had Big O rushing for him. I didn't know the hell Big O got on that team. AJ, Yanel, Nadim, everyone else. Yeah, that I'm sorry. Without a roster like that, he can't go very far.
all right, I've got one more question. Will we see any players crash out this week?
With the refs, we got to crack down on all the talking. Only captains should be talking to the refs. It got out of hand last week. I saw one of the refs was about to eject Azuz because he was talking too damn much. I see you talking to the refs. I see Nadim talking to the refs. If you're not a captain, stop talking to the damn refs. Let them get it situated because once everyone gets huddled up like that, it becomes a freaking war zone. And I just know my commish, the GOAT commish, Hassan, is going to crack down this week. Probably going to send something in the group chat, have some rules, no warnings, and we should get it taken care of. But if there is a crash out, if there is a crash out, Tokes, let me know this. What's the schedule?
Well, we've got Doomy versus Big O.
Domi is crashing out.
Wow. Wow. It's a hot take, Hamada. But I hope we don't see any crash outs. I hope it's just strictly football. I think week one, a great week one was marred by the events that took place in game two. The events that took place in game two distracted us from the fact that there was some really great football being played in week one, and when the football comes second, then something happened that shouldn't have happened. So let's always try to keep football first, and at the end of the day, we're all brothers. So we shouldn't be fighting, and setting a bad example for the community, especially for the non-Muslims in the community. You know, I hope Hassan will address it. I know he's gonna send out a message or something later on during the week, and I don't think we'll see any crash outs. To be honest, I
I
don't think
hope not.
we'll
We
see any
can't. We
week
got to
two.
stop taking this stuff for granted because we get professional refs. We're paying for these refs, so we shouldn't take them for granted. Let the same old story, man. Last year we have players refing, you're arguing. We have professional refs, you're still arguing. Just let bygones be bygones. Let the refs do their jobs. We're paying for these refs. Don't take it for granted. It was a weird week one. They'll get better. We'll all be better. Don't let that dirty game mask the refs' performance because I thought the refs were actually perfect, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
All right. I think we've said as much as we wanted to say, guys. I know this was the first episode, so it did drag on a little bit longer than we wanted it to. We'll usually try to keep these anywhere between 25 to 30 minutes. The one today stretched about 45 minutes, but it's week one, and we had a lot to say. So we appreciate everyone tuning in. This will be uploaded for people who couldn't make it, and we hope to see everyone next week. And with that, Hamada, you got anything to say before we peace out?
Stay tuned for next week, and all I'm gonna say is Big O, Small O, Tokyo. Habibi Elite in 5.
Yeah, Habibi Elite in 5, right? All right, guys, we're
Sprite, halal Sprite, halal Sprite.